It's been a while since my last review video. I wanted my next one to be focused on a 3D Mario game, but I couldn't decide which one, so I did a poll on a community post to determine which one I should do. The Galaxy games won by quite a bit. I decided to review them both because they're pretty similar. Longtime members of this channel will know that the Galaxy games are my second and third favorite Mario games of all time, Odyssey being the first. So I am very excited to talk about these two extraordinary games. I usually try to come back to these games once every year or two if I have the time. I, like many other Mario fans, absolutely adore these games. Now enough of this intro, let's get into why these two Mario games are awesome. Mario Galaxy 1, like most Mario games, has a simple story. Once every 100 years, a comet appears over the Mushroom Kingdom. One year, the comet was so large that shooting stars rained down upon the Mushroom Kingdom. It's later made clear that these are star bits. Every 100 years, the Mushroom Kingdom holds an event known as the Star Festival to honor this comet. Fortunately for Mario, he gets to live to see this once-in-a-lifetime event. Peach invites Mario to watch the Star Festival with her. Unfortunately for the two of them, this happens to be the same night Bowser launches an attack on the Mushroom Kingdom. Mario rushes to the castle as Bowser demolishes everything in sight. He freezes some of the toads in ice crystals, but all Mario can do is run to Peach. Before Mario makes it to the castle, a giant UFO appears in the sky. It uses powerful lasers to cut a hole around Peach's castle and uses chains to pull it up into outer space. Luckily for Mario, he manages to just barely make it onto the hunk of ground being pulled into space, but Kamek appears and launches Mario far, far away from the castle. Mario wakes up somehow alive on this mysterious planet where he's forced to play hide and seek with three bunnies. Are we all just gonna accept the fact that all the Mario characters can just naturally survive being in space without needing a spacesuit or anything of any kind? Once he catches all of them, they turn into Lumas and Mario is met with Rosalina. Rosalina gives Mario the ability to spin, which will prove to be very useful on this adventure. Mario is then launched into the galaxy where he traverses the tutorial level. This is where the player learns how the wonky gravity in this game works. This weird gravity is one of the most fun and unique parts of this game and is one of my favorite things about it. Upon completing this level, Mario gets his first Grand Star. He's brought to the observatory, which is the hub world for this game and home to Rosalina and the Lumas. Rosalina tells Mario about how Bowser took all of the stars from the observatory and scattered them across the universe. It's up to Mario to find all of those stars to power up the observatory, travel to the center of the universe, defeat Bowser and his evil plans to take over the universe, and rescue Peach. Sounds easy enough, right? Mario will travel to several different galaxies, finding many stars along the way. For most stars, he'll have to complete certain objectives. For others, he'll have to find secrets that lead him to a hidden star somewhere in the galaxy. And sometimes, a prankster comet will appear, making a galaxy go haywire and making for an intense yet fun mission to nab another star. He'll even be confronted by Bowser and Bowser Jr. a few times during his travels. Every time you defeat Bowser or Bowser Jr., you're given a Grand Star. A Grand Star unlocks a new area in the observatory which brings new galaxies for you to explore. While Mario's in Ghostly Galaxy, he stumbles upon Luigi who will help you find a few more stars once he's saved. Once you get a grand total of 60 Power Stars, which is half the amount in the entire game, you can head to the center of the universe, infiltrate Bowser's super epic galaxy reactor, fight the King of the Koopas himself, and save every single living being in the entire universe. Oh yeah, the universe also gets reborn. It's complicated. Holy shit! After 100%ing the game as Mario, you can go back and do the same with Luigi, who controls slightly differently than Mario. That's the main plot of the story. There's actually a subplot where Mario keeps walking in on Rosalina telling a story to the Lumas about her childhood. Many fans adore this subplot because it officially makes Rosalina the only Mario character to have a complete backstory. Although the movie did just give some of the characters some form of a backstory just recently, but none of them were nearly as emotional or intriguing as Rosalina's. Not nearly as fleshed out either. Oof. That story took longer to explain than I thought. Oh wait, we still have Galaxy 2 to talk about. Honestly, the story here remains mostly the same. Mario is invited to watch the Star Festival with Peach, but Bowser attacks once again. This time he's a big boy. Mario is launched into space where he meets Lubba, a Luma who doesn't have nearly as much significance or impact as Rosalina, but replaces her anyway. Lubba and his crew of Lumas turn their old spaceship into a Mario head, which is actually pretty cool, and they use it as their way of flying through the universe with the destination being the center of it to stop Bowser. You also unlock the ability to play as Luigi midway through the game instead of it being after 100%ing it, which if you ask me is better. After beating Bowser, you're met with Rosalina once again, who thanks you for saving the universe. Come to think of it, why are we the ones doing all the work? You're the one with magic powers! Anyway, you get to go back through all the galaxies again, collecting green stars after this, which are hidden throughout each of the missions. Some of them are easy to find, some are hard to find, and some are super annoying. However, it is more fun than playing through the exact same game again, but as Luigi instead. Now, I might know what you're thinking. Is Galaxy 2 a sequel or a prequel? To answer that question, I have no idea! There's no definitive way to determine whether it's a sequel or a prequel. The reason I bring this up is because the plot hole of the Star Festival occurring twice in Mario's life, and all the characters introduced in these games, such as Rosalina, Captain Toad, and more, acting as if they're meeting Mario for the first time in both games, has always been really interesting to me. However, I came to the conclusion that these two games occur in parallel universes. Mario games are never too concerned with the story, which is why I think that the answer is as simple as these two games take place in different universes. I know this tangent seems a bit random, but it's something I've always thought about with the story in these two games, and if anyone else was out there wondering the same thing, I just wanted them to know that they're not alone. The moveset in this game is attacked all the time, and I can't say I disagree. You have all your basic moves like triple jumping, long jumps, ground pounds, and more, but so many iconic moves such as diving and flutter jumping are missing. Look, I've never been too upset about the stripped moveset, but I see why it isn't always the best. I get that this is mostly to do with the fact that the Wii Remote just didn't have enough buttons to include all these moves, but it's disappointing nonetheless. However, Mario controls very smoothly in this game. There's never a moment where I have a dumb death due to the game's controls. Mario 64! The spin is also a simple yet incredible addition to the moveset. It's used in so many scenarios, like correcting your movement in the air, attacking enemies, solving puzzles, and so many more. While the moveset in this game isn't the best, it gets the job done right. I don't care what anyone says, these games have the best soundtracks in Mario history. I'd say both of these games are on the same level when it comes to the soundtrack, but Galaxy 2 might just have a few more songs I can think of that makes my ears happy. There's plenty of iconic Mario songs that came from these games, such as Good Egg Galaxy, Sky Station Galaxy, Fluffy Bluff Galaxy, Bowie Base Galaxy, Bowser Jr.'s theme, the Galaxy Generator, and who could forget Gusty Garden Galaxy. There are also always those themes that are underappreciated and have a good amount of people that still really enjoy them, like Space Storm Galaxy, Melty Monster Galaxy, Speedy Comet, Galaxy 2's final boss, the list really just keeps going. These games truly wouldn't be the same without their soundtracks. I mean, they'd still be incredible, but the soundtracks are what really gives these games the finishing touch. I can't imagine these games without their outstanding soundtracks. Every track makes each level feel magical and like you're really traveling through space. While these games obviously have their differences, they are quite similar. They're mostly similar in the way the games play, because they use the same engine and in general have similar level design and mechanics. But they also do have some differences. Let's talk about them, shall we? So the main way people differentiate these two games is by saying Galaxy 1 is more open and Galaxy 2 is more linear. This is very true, but this doesn't make Galaxy 1 an open game by any means at all. They are both still very linear games at the end of the day. The reason Galaxy 1 is considered more open is because... Hold on, this will take a second to explain. Both Galaxy 1 and Galaxy 2 have bigger and smaller galaxies. Galaxy 1's bigger galaxies tend to have 3 main stars, 1 prankster comet star, 1 purple comet star, and 1 hidden star that you usually have to go out of your way to find. Galaxy 2's bigger galaxies tend to have 2 main stars and 1 prankster comet star. Galaxy 2 lacked a lot of the secret stars, which means you never really have to go out of your way to find many of them. You usually get the odd galaxy that has a star hidden somewhere, but it's not as common as it was in Galaxy 1. You might be thinking, does this mean Galaxy 1 had more content if there's more stars in each galaxy? The answer is no. Having less stars in each galaxy allowed Galaxy 2 to have even more galaxies, which I'd argue is better. That's kind of the main way people differentiate these two games. Another way they're different is the way the hub world works. In Galaxy 1, to travel to certain galaxies, you need to have a certain number of stars. The number of stars you need to travel to each galaxy goes up as you unlock more worlds. It's a relatively basic system, but it works just fine. Galaxy 2 made things a bit more interesting. The hub world in Galaxy 2 works more like the hub world in the 2D Mario games. There's a path you need to follow, and to continue moving along the path, you need to get a star in each galaxy that blocks your path. At the end of the day, you're still just playing through levels in a similar order that you would be in either style, but there's something more appealing about Galaxy 2's style. The last difference between these two games that I'll talk about is the post-final boss content. I briefly talked about it already. Galaxy 1 has you go through the whole game again, but as Luigi. Luigi controls slightly differently than Mario, but it's nothing super interesting. Honestly, it's kind of boring that to 100% this game, you basically have to play through it twice. Once you do 100% it, you unlock a bonus star. Oh boy, I'm sure it must be awesome if I went through all this effort to get it. It must be super fun. Yeah, it's just the game's opening. But you gotta collect purple coins. Yeah, that's kind of boring. Once again, Galaxy 2 bests its predecessor by having you do something new. You have to go back and collect all the green stars. Some of these can be frustrating, but at least it's new content. Once you collect every star and every green star, you unlock arguably the hardest Mario level ever, the perfect run. You start by playing through this level with 3 hit points, but after grabbing the Comet Medal, you can play through it again with only 1 hit point. Completing this level takes a few tries, but it isn't too bad if you ask me. I'd say it's sort of on the same level as Champions Road, but either could be considered to be harder than the other. So which of these games do I like more? Well, it's extremely close, but I have to go with Galaxy 2 on this one. In a lot of ways, I prefer Galaxy 1, but I just have objectively more fun with Galaxy 2. My opinion can go back and forth sometimes, but all in all, Galaxy 2 is consistently my favorite. Wow, I talked a lot about these two games. But can you blame me? These two games were revolutionary and way ahead of their times. These games hold up extraordinarily well today considering they're 16 and 13 years old. I'm sorry to all the fans who grew up with these games who just had to listen to the previous sentence. There's a reason I come back to these games every year or two. It's because these games are so easy to pick up and play. Sure, Odyssey may be my favorite Mario game, but it's not the easiest game to pick up and play once every year or two and start from scratch. Galaxy 1 and 2 are so easy to just simply play through each level and 100% the games in a few days. I adore these games, and always will. I would give both these games a solid 9 out of 10. That's how good they are. Anyway, that'll do it for today. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all next time, but until then, keep being awesome Nintendo fans. Peace out!